Gemini Spark is the most important consumer agent launch from Google I/O because it answers a simple question. What if Gemini did not wait inside a chat box? Google describes Spark as a 24/7 personal AI agent that works under your direction, uses Gemini 3.5, and runs on the same anti-gravity harness Google is using for developer agents. That means Spark is not just a nicer Gemini interface. It is Google's attempt to turn personal context, workspace files, recurring tasks, and approvals into one background AI workflow.
The reason Spark is credible is context. Google says it is deeply integrated with Workspace tools like Gmail, Docs, and Slides. That matters because agents become useful when they can see the work, instead of asking you to paste everything into a prompt. A normal chatbot can help draft an email. A personal agent can understand the recurring document, the prior thread, the deck, the person you are writing to, and the follow-up you need later. Spark is Google turning Workspace from a tool suite into the memory layer for action.
The most important phrase in Google's post is background work. Spark can keep going after the first instruction. It can monitor, prepare, summarize, draft, and build a small project while you are doing something else. That is where agents stop being a novelty. If the agent still requires you to babysit every turn, it is just a faster assistant. If it can run a task, report progress, and ask when a real decision is needed, the workflow changes. Spark is Google testing that product contract with real users.
The hidden technical clue is that Spark uses the anti-gravity harness. Google is using the same agent infrastructure story across consumers and developers. In developer land, anti-gravity can coordinate agents, sub-agents, scheduled tasks, and tool integrations. In consumer land, Spark packages that idea into a personal assistant. That is the right direction. Agents need planning, permissions, tool use, context, and recovery when something goes wrong. Spark is the friendly front end, but anti-gravity is the operating model underneath.
The biggest risk is not whether Spark can do enough, it is whether users trust it with the right amount of control. Google says high-stakes actions like sending an email or spending money should ask first. That is not a boring safety detail. That is the whole product. The best personal agent will not be the one that clicks everywhere. It will be the one that knows when to act, when to ask, and how to show its reasoning before it touches something sensitive. Google is also being careful with access. Spark goes first to trusted testers, then to a US Google AI Ultra Beta. That tells us two things. First, Google wants real-world feedback before opening the floodgates. Second, Spark is positioned as a premium agent layer, not just another free chat feature. That is probably the right launch path. Personal agents touch private work, calendars, documents, messages, and money-adjacent tasks. The quality bar has to be higher than a demo stage.
So the Spark story is not a cute Gemini feature. It is Google's test of the personal agent category. The promise is simple. Give Gemini the context, let it work in the background, connect it to the tools, and keep the human in control when decisions matter. If Google gets that balance right, Spark could become the first agent many normal users actually understand. If it gets it wrong, people will treat it like another automation toy. The product challenge is trust at scale.
The next thing to watch is whether Spark becomes a daily habit or a premium demo. 3 signals matter. First, does Workspace context actually save time without making users nervous? Second, do permission prompts feel clear, or do they interrupt the whole point of autonomy? Third, does Spark connect to enough outside tools to become a real assistant instead of a Google-only workflow? If those 3 pieces work, Spark becomes more than a feature. It becomes the first normal user test of whether personal agents can run in the background without breaking trust. Bottom line, Spark is the trust test for consumer agents. If Google can make it useful inside the work people already do, and if the approval model feels calm instead of annoying, Spark could become the first agent many users leave running. The launch is not just about Gemini being smarter. It is about Gemini becoming dependable enough to delegate to. That is why Spark deserves its own video. It is the consumer version of the agent shift everyone keeps describing in abstract terms.